to generate an altruistic motivation for the meditation. And then reflecting on the 18th training of Bodhisattvas, transforming suffering and frailty into the path. So in a situation where hunger is a real problem, where there is no solution, and other people are criticizing one, either in the family or at work, or if one is suffering from a grave illness, then at such a time a bodhisattva will not suffer mentally. While training to become a bodhisattva, one who is suffering understands that the poverty came about in dependence on causes and conditions, as did the illness, and also from self-cherishing. In the past, one must have created different causes with afflictive minds. And so in this life, this result is coming about. So afflictive minds have caused this in the past. So when an aspiring bodhisattva trains in this way, but an actual bodhisattva doesn't actually suffer. They feel compassion and they practice Thogme. An actual bodhisattva has developed a very expansive mind, a very expansive outlook. They're actually happy to have adverse circumstances. So they take illness and poverty, understanding its karma. Karma created in the past and now ripening with these particular conditions. And they examine, well, what would be the cause of illness? They see it would have been from self-cherishing, where killing and abuse of others has happened due to an attachment to our own aims. And with poverty, one has been miserly, grasped at wealth and gain, disregarding others. So we need to commit to not come under the effect of afflictions wherever possible, and instead generate positive minds. without any thought to harm. I will definitely protect others and offer support and friendship. So we emulate the behavior of past Bodhisattvas as they were training to develop bodhicitta. And with the current pandemic, we can really see that the current situation has come about through causes and conditions in the past lives of killing and abuse. So we can feel compassion for those who have died and the grief of their relatives, or those who are dying now, and those who are in fear of their own life or losing loved ones. Through having a broader view, then we really feel compassion, how lost beings are, how helpless in these difficult circumstances, and allow that compassion to arise very strongly. And dedicate our merit to them, and transform any suffering we ourselves have due to fear or illness or threat of dying. We can see it as an excellent opportunity to practice Dharma, Mahayana Dharma. So then transforming wealth into the path. Practice number 19. So in a situation where we have an abundance of material resources, we're likely to be surrounded by people who praise us and talk up our good qualities. So conceit and pride may easily arise. These minds are of great danger. They can cause us to look down on others, and harmful actions can easily follow, as we're not really valuing others for their true worth. A bodhisattva, through their very vast good karma, receive a lot of respect and praise and wealth, and have very good reputation. And through their extensive training, they're very careful to guard against afflictive minds. It's a main focus to really be aware of their own state of mind and ensure afflictive minds don't arise. And also they see the respect and the praise and the wealth as being essenceless. They realize these things are impermanent. The good qualities and the reputation depend on causes and conditions. They're changing. They will cease. So they don't get attached. They're constantly accumulating merit and purifying. So they're continually getting these good results, but they're intent to use them to generate further good qualities. They use them to alleviate the suffering of others, which is their heartfelt desire. And they ensure they have an abundance of further good qualities and resources for the future lives to be able to help others again. We need to refrain from making a big deal out of our good rebirth or race or fortune or good looks. It's very important to guard against pride, to protect ourselves from afflictions. And we need to use our resources and qualities to help others. We have a power and an influence within the society, and that is a way that we can benefit and help other living beings. So the first point is that afflictions must be avoided, as they only result in a lower rebirth. And then secondly, we use everything for others, emulating the Bodhisattvas of the past. The next practice is transforming anger into the path. Number 20. So here our real enemy is our afflictions, our minds of attachment, anger, and ignorance. So the enemy of my own anger, while it remains unsubdued, the thought that I can conquer external enemies, while the inner ones will only increase. It's through the force of loving kindness and compassion, subduing my own mind, that I emulate the Bodhisattvas. There's no reference here in this practice to any external enemy. This afflicted mind of anger has given us harm and caused non-virtuous karma, creating rebirth in the lower realms. And I've harmed many beings along the way. Our habituation with this negative minds increases that enemy, the afflictions. So how do we eliminate that true enemy, the anger? We need to develop genuine loving kindness and compassion for others. In fact, the mind of loving kindness and compassion is seen like an army. The stronger it is, the more effective it is able to overcome the enemy of anger. When ordinary Bodhisattvas were training and aspiring for Buddhahood, they saw that the afflictions, such as anger, etc., are never justified. They saw that they needed to be completely eliminated. So we have to recognize the faults of anger. Anger distorts our view. Anger makes us deal with whatever situation is arising in an unskillful way. We're far more clear and helpful and resourceful in any situation when we're in a good mood. Anger is a great fault. It harms myself now and in the future, and is very unpleasant for those around me. Attachment, on the other hand, serves a different role. It can lead to other afflictions arising. It strengthens and supports the afflictions. Because attachment is overestimating the value of a good physique or a good nationality or race or intelligence. From attachment comes pride. We don't care for others well. And when we don't get what we want, then anger comes. Until we eliminate attachment, we will always have external enemies. So while anger is easy to recognize, and others also recognize it in us, attachment is much more difficult to recognize, and also it has many, many levels of attachment. So the next practice is transforming attachment into the path. We can think of the example of a cat spotting a bird in the bush. Its ears prick up and it makes no noise at all, and then rushes to catch its prey. Similarly, we see an object and our attachment grows, and we think how useful or delightful it would be, and then grasp at it and make a plan to obtain it. The attachment has been there all along, but we don't notice it until it really arises strongly, until it sneaks up and is quite pervasive. Sensual pleasures can be likened to drinking salt water. The more you drink, the more craving intensifies. So the advice is to abandon immediately those things which breed desirous attachment. When we desire things and are able to obtain them, we discover that they don't satisfy us for long. Again, we're looking for something new. We follow attachment and our craving grows. So we need to separate ourselves from the object of that attachment by recognizing the danger. And secondly, we need to actively develop a type of contentment where we're not looking for desirous objects. Attachment has a wide number of objects and many levels of subtlety. Different attachments to the body, to fulfilling our wishes, or attachment to our views or material things. So when we're attached to a person or a material possession, then separate from that and develop contentment. And also meditate on impermanence, how attachment itself arises in dependence on causes and conditions. The quality of attachment is to deceive us. And reflect that all that appears to our mind does not exist in the way it appears. Things are merely imputed by the mind. So we've looked at transforming anger and transforming attachment. And then the next practice is to transform ignorance into the path. Ignorance can be mere confusion, but here the ignorance is grasping at true existence. It's the particular ignorance of the three poisons, and it's the root of cyclic existence. Things appear to exist by way of their own character, in a self-existent way, truly or inherently. These four are synonyms for the Prasangika school. And while things appear to exist in that way, they don't exist at all in that way. What appears in a dream, such as a house with many friends, may be very beautiful. But if in our dream we were to ask, do they exist in that way that they appear, we couldn't find them. The mind itself is naturally free from the extremes of fabrication. So any object that appears to the mind appears to exist truly or inherently. That includes feelings and emotions. The mind is naturally free of fabrication and elaboration and mental constructs. It's free of inherent existence. Phenomena do exist, but they don't exist inherently. They exist by depending on causes and conditions. Phenomena are free of not existing at all, nihilism, and they're free of existing in a permanent way. Those aspiring to the Mahayana follow the past Bodhisattvas. They understand the danger of the root poison of ignorance. The ignorance grasping at a self of persons. We need to ask for blessings, to receive teachings and understand and reflect well, to be able to realize this. And the next practice is abandoning clinging to the objects of attachment as being truly existent. So an attractive object is thought of as being just like a rainbow in the summer sky. That attractiveness appears truly existent, but the object, being like a rainbow, comes about due to causes and conditions. It's temporary, it doesn't last. We're able to see that a rainbow comes about and then disappears very quickly. So objects of attachment are seen like that. That helps the Bodhisattva to abandon clinging. So we need to practice in the same way. And together with that comes the abandoning of clinging to objects of anger as being truly existent. So like the death of a child in a dream, there is great pain. Even when we wake up, we would be deeply disturbed. But there is no way that the child existed, and no way that there was an illness and that it died. So the practitioner who understands this, that things appear the same as, or similar to a dream, but they don't exist in that way. They haven't yet realized emptiness directly, but they're able to weaken their grasping at phenomena as truly existent, as existing the way that they appear. Rather than being exhausted by the process of true grasping, gradually the habituation, the grasping at objects appearing this way weakens. Things depend on causes and conditions, so that grasping at objects as truly existent, independent of causes and conditions, is false. A Bodhisattva will see that beings are lost in confusion. They desire happiness. And so great compassion arises. So the Bodhisattva develops a strength of mind, a great effort in the practice to counter grasping at true existence. So we can commit to not be overcome, to not get weak or dispirited or upset. We can transform ourselves and have a meaningful effect on others. And also we can dedicate our merit to others. And if we do practice in this way, we will no longer be overwhelmed or disappointed. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So to conclude, Jangju Semcho Rinpoche Make Panyam Kekushe Ke Panyam Pa Me Payam Gong Ne Gong Du Pel Ba Shu